Hi everyone, Gary O'Neil, and today's post is really about what I like to call the entrepreneur's kryptonite. And that word really comes down to the word regret. And I guess I've been doing a lot of soul searching over the last few weeks and kind of looking back at my life and looking at some of my accomplishments and things that I've done. And I think as I get older now, I try to figure out more of where do I want to end up? What's that destination place in terms of, not only business, positions that I want to be in, but also where I want to be personally. And, I began to think, I was like, regret must be the hardest thing to live with when you get older, because when you get older, you expect to have ailments and some, health issues here and there, but to carry around that mental burden of I should have done that, or I could have done that, or this, just has to be the worst feeling in the world, because that's something you would probably think about every day of your life. And that's something I don't want to do. And I've had a pretty, successful professional life, a pretty successful personal life. I'm married, 2 great kids and all that stuff. So I consider myself kind of at halftime now, so I get to try to re-strategize my life and make sure I'm pointing it in the right direction. And I think a lot of people don't really assess themselves and take time to really assess themselves and find out where they want to go and where they want to be, because it's easy to do what you're doing today, but it's also easy to complain about where you are today because, if you're not planning and kind of doing that rocking chair analogy where you're putting yourself in a position 25 years from now, and you look at that and you say, hey, am I doing those things today to get to that goal? And if you're not, it's an expectation you'll never fulfill. And a lot of times I think, regret comes out of, fear has to be one of the big ones, but a lot of times it's not knowing how to start or being too perfect. I actually watched a video of Michael Dell recently, and his number one reason for entrepreneurs not being successful is because they try to be perfect. They don't understand that there's this failure rate, there's this learning rate that you go along, and you build the building and the foundation as you go. It's hard to build that foundation up front, at least 100%. So I started thinking about that, and I said, you know what, I'm really going to take the time to kind of give myself a self-evaluation and self-check more often. And a lot of times it's really about being critical of yourself and getting to the point where you're angry at yourself for not doing things. And that's where I wanted to get, and I got, because I said, you know what, I have a lot of time to do a lot of things, and there's just a couple things that I really want to, explore and try to make these ideas come to light. And I said, and I'm kind of doing them here and kind of doing them there. And sometimes I don't think I'm on the right track. So I really had an honest dialogue with myself to the point where, I got really angry at myself, for getting off path. Because I think society today, between having Twitter and the millions of things that you hear and there and watch there and books and all these different mediums, you get to a point where you just get a little lost in the shuffle and you tend to do 50 little things and end up not really progressing. And that famous quote of, don't confuse activity with achievement is so true. We get so inundated with being active that we don't really plan a real route to achievement. And I just really have gone through that the last few weeks, and I thought it'd be a great topic for a video post, because I think a lot of people suffer from that. I mean, I see people on Twitter all the time that, you could tell they enjoy the medium. They like getting their ideas out there, but, why are they really doing it? Is it just to get their ideas out there? Are they trying to build a business? Are they trying to build a network? Whatever it is, you have to look at it that way. So again, this was just a little kind of more of a self-oriented post. I didn't really want this to be something that would drag people down, but, the big takeaway is, like anything else you would do, like we're all critical of other people, but we're very seldom very critical of ourselves. And really, when you think about it, being critical of yourself is what's the driver. And if we tend to do that a little bit more, I think it'll bring up some things that, you've either harbored or that you put on the shelf that you haven't done, or some ideas maybe you had that you just completely forgot about because you were doing something else. It's time to do that self-check and really start living today to achieve what you want tomorrow. With that, hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.